Welcome to Samuelsdottir channel. Kevin Samuels was truly a truth seeker, and after many years of educating both men and women of all races, but particularly those of African descent, in the art of navigating the ever-complex dating world, he was sadly ripped from our lives as he was called back home to the Almighty in 2022. Some of us, myself included, instinctively recognized the truth of his message. Many found his message rather unpalatable. I am hoping with this channel to make his message that little bit more digestible in a more feminine and softer manner. I hope this helps my sisters in the Black community who saw him as an enemy. Being Black myself, I hope I can bridge that gap. And oh, by the way, my father was also called Samuel, so in a twist of fate, I pay tribute with this channel to my father, who is also where Kevin has gone. I love how the Icelandic have a way of acknowledging someone's daughter in the same way as someone's son. So I appropriate the Icelandic way to find a suitable name for my channel, Samuelsdottir, Samuel's daughter. Enjoy the video.
How y'all lives ending? And the thing is, self-love ends up as selfish for so many women, which ends up as being alone. Selfish ends up being alone. So how can you have all this self-love and not have anybody to share your life with? No. Yeah. Self-love, but alone. Hello.
A little interruption here just to welcome myself back to my channel. I took a bit of an unauthorized break, quite a long Christmas and New Year break. I hope you guys had a lovely break, especially a refreshing one. So I'm back and to business as usual. This video is actually a prolongation or a continuation of one of Kevin Samuels' previous videos. It was just too long last time, so I had to split it up. So much has happened since I've been away. We've had this drizzle incident with the trophy wife. We've had Leslie Phillips, the British woman. I'm so sad to announce that, being British myself, it hurts that such women exist in our realm. But there we have it. Sad but true. We must accept life as it is, as we find it, right? So much has happened. The cooking with Kaya. Yeah, delightful girl. I like her very much. A little bit too overtly but I see the principle of what she's doing. It's lovely to be able to cook for your man. It's a good thing. So moving swiftly on to the topic at hand. Here, Kevin Samuels is talking about so much self-love that we end up alone. This is very true. Now, there's a little bit of a double standard here, and this is part of life again. A lot of women do want to be partnered up. So do men, of course. But I think men tolerate being alone more than women in general. I know many women who are quite happy to live alone. But deep down, I think the hurt is much more for women than men. And it is financially and physically more difficult for women as well. If a man can get over the household chores, etc., he can live very well on his own, because the modern life is actually geared to reduce the need for household chores. Cooking and cleaning, etc. You can always hire someone for that. But for women, the disadvantage of living alone is much greater. Any little thing that goes wrong, yes, you can also hire out. You can outsource these things, but it costs a lot more than the reverse. So if we are being honest, I think it is fair to say that the living alone situation is harder on women, because it's also a matter of survival, actually. But anyway, let's not overdo this point. Let's move on and hear what Kevin Samuels has to say. And now we have also the lady in question, or the ladies in question, who are about to converse with him.
How are you?
I'm fine. Hey, I'm good.
Good. Your first name?
I'm Amari.
The lady in the hat. Your first name?
Amari.
Amari. And then, ma'am, your first name?
Roxanne.
Roxanne. How old are you, Roxanne?
I'm 48.
48. So have you been watching? Did you just join the broadcast? Or have you? Because I've been on YouTube earlier.
Yes. I joined on Instagram.
All right. So I'm talking, and you said you're 27. How, ma'am? You're 48, and how old are you?
I'm 27.
27. All right. So I'm talking about self-love. This self-love that turns into selfishness with modern women. And I profiled Diane Carroll, who shared the fact that it took her to be an old woman and failing in 4 marriages before recognizing the reason she was alone is because she's difficult. Because she was difficult.
Difficult. Okay.
Difficult. And then I juxtaposed that with Eartha Kitt, Catwoman, sitting in a garden being interviewed, asking about could she compromise with the men, and she cackled loudly and laughed like a mad woman with this glazed look in her eye. And I'm like, well, if these 2 women were some of the best that ever did it, what can you learn? So my theory, my supposition is self-love turns into selfishness, it turns into alone. What do you think?
I had 27-year-old. I'll go next. Go ahead. Okay, so what I think about self-love is, if you don't love yourself, if you don't teach the person that you're in a relationship how you love yourself, if you're reciprocating that energy, returning it back, what's wrong with self-love? I feel like it's not selfish. You sometimes have to show somebody how to love you. And then these women that have been left alone, is it because what? It's because she found out she was the problem, or is it because she was messing with a manipulator who made her seem like she was the problem because he was unfaithful or...
See, I want you to notice how well, first of all, you automatically went to why the woman left alone. She was alone because she's alone, because she's hard to deal with. That's what the woman said, because she said she was difficult. That's what she said. So let's stop trying to make men be the fault all the time. That's what I want to do, though. I want to have conversations with women who we talk about what's going on with women, and women aren't making the cause be somebody else. We're all adults, and you're responsible for your stuff. Now, you say it's self-love. You teach somebody how to love yourself. You teach somebody how to love you, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Who taught you how to love a man?
My grandmother. That's that man, though. Everyone's not the same. That's that. My grandmother just told me how she stuck it out with her husband.
She told you how she stuck it out. What did your mom do?
My mother is divorced.
And your status?
I am married.
Okay, how long have you been married?
For 3 years.
Okay. Any children?
I have 1 son.
Not with your husband?
No, not with my husband. From a previous relationship.
Part of the issue with the way you came in the room is you seem to lack humility.
Okay.
Because you're talking about you. Okay, how to love myself and teach somebody. But how do you love your man? How do you love your son?
I love them how I would want to be loved. I'm patient, I'm kind, I'm caring.
But do you understand that how you want to be loved is different than a man?
Yes, totally. We have different needs. Absolutely.
Then why would you love them the way you want to be loved when you're a woman?
Because the bottom line is about respect, mutual respect, putting myself in their shoes, caring, being empathetic, patient. That's basics.
Okay. I try to be kind of delicate with married women because you're already with somebody. Someone's chosen you. I hope it works. But I will be honest, overall, the energy you're giving me is same me first modern woman. And it's difficult to get along with. It's about y'all. And
I don't put myself first. I'm a mother, but honestly, like my needs are that last. Just being a mom alone.
okay. I'm just going on what you've said. Okay, what do you have to say, ma'am? 48. I forgot your name. Go ahead.
And you come my
Roxanne. Yeah, about things. I mean, I got a lot of things going on right now. 10,000, 18,000 people.
face.
Go ahead. What do you got to add?
You talk about celebrities that probably put monetary or material things above a relationship with a man. So any woman that puts material things or money first, they probably won't end up in a perfect situation when they get older. When they're not, men are visual, so when they get older, they don't have nothing to offer besides money or material things.
Well, why do we use celebrity?
I mean, because you get an example of celebrity.
I'm just saying, but why do we use them?
Why do you use them?
Dear, it's not just me. I didn't start this, so don't make that just me.
Okay, well, you just said Grace. You mentioned.
Yeah, because I don't know your cousin. It's somebody we all know. That's why we use celebrities. The reason we use what's
Hey, that's
we
not real life.
excuse me. We use what's applicable. So unless you're gonna go and look, hold on.
Okay.
I really dislike when women want to try to argue the methodologies when it's used. You're the same generation. People use athletics, entertainment, sports as comparisons for life. We use people who have a common knowledge of, because you can't speak about everybody. And you said one thing about it. Well, if you put money first, well, do you watch my program?
Yes.
Does it sound like women are putting money first these days?
I see. I don't know what to say next because you get offended pretty quick.
Does it sound like women are putting money first these days when they're looking for a man?
You said we're putting ourselves first. Well, okay. I don't relate to those women. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I didn't ask if you're necessarily related to those women. That's not the question. The question is, of the hundreds, the thousands of women that have run through my show, what do most women put ahead, resource or character?
Resource on your show.
It's not just on my show, ma'am. And see, that's the problem. My show is not a microcosm. And maybe that's not because it's not your experience. You think this is not the real world. It is far more real. I move around this country and it's the same. That's why I can take calls from Maine to California and get almost a similar outcome and similar result. And women who put money first, according to you, may have such and so forth. So by extension, even the women who call into the program who are putting resource, i.e. money first, Chad, am I wrong? I mean, does the logic not seem to fit?
No, the logic, you said it. You said show. This is all show. Women, let's be realistic. Women, it's at the end of the day, I want to be respectful, so I want you to speak. But I just want to say that this does not relate to the actual real world. Money, okay, money is just a tool.
What city or state do you live in?
I'm in New York.
Oh, New York City?
Yes, close by.
So you think what you're saying relates more to the real world than what happens with millions of people on the platform?
It relates to more real women, not the real world, but real women.
Who's calling into my show every night? Celebrities?
just I'm here and there. Okay, because this is off topic, but
Man, but before you do that, you keep saying so either you don't watch.
I do.
Okay, so
you say a lot of.
But the women who call into my show, do you think they are a representative sampling of what the dating market is in this country?
Yes, I believe that it is.
Then these are the real women. If it's a representative sampling.
That doesn't mean that because it's a representative sampling that it's the real women. It's just like.
What does it mean? If it's representative, if it's representative, what does it mean? What does representative mean?
It means a lot of people think the same, but they don't represent me. I don't
Okay, let's start right here. Let's start right here. This is one of these logical fallacies that women pull today. It's because you don't represent me or because you don't talk to each and every individual. It's not valid. Are generalizations valid? Excuse me. Are generalizations valid for a conversation?
Sorry for the interruption, but I don't know about you, but this is tedious, isn't it? She's just not logical now. Yes, that's a woman's problem, apparently, yes. But even I, as a woman, I want to just pull my eyes out. This is so difficult. I guess it's really about being disingenuous. It's not that she doesn't know the answer to the questions. She just doesn't want to answer when it doesn't suit her narrative. She doesn't want to be honest enough to say, yes, what you're saying is correct. I may not agree with it, but it is factual, what you're saying. That's it, and move on. But she's finding it difficult because she just doesn't want to help him to make his point, even though his point is actually beneficial. He is delivering a logical argument. Whether or not she wants to apply it in her own life, it's by the way. But at least admit that he's telling the truth. Admit that he's at least making sense. Anyway, sorry about the poor quality. I was struggling to hear this conversation. Perhaps you are too. Sorry about that. Maybe you need to turn up the volume to hear better. Let's continue.
If it applies.
Okay, if it applies. So in order for it to apply, does it need to be, it needs to be 50.1% or more one way than the other. True or false?
True.
Okay, so what you're seeing are generalizations that you may not apply to you, but it is valid. Just because you may be in the 1% or the 2% over here, we're talking about the greater percentage of people. And my thing is, why I don't understand why women around your age are still trying to split the hair. Does it matter if it doesn't represent you? What I think, I think you should probably look at it and say, you know what? Why is this happening every night and I seem to be over here? What's the disconnect?
I know what the disconnect is.
What is that?
Truthfully, it's just people in general, just not listening to everyone's following what everyone else is doing and not being true or genuine to themselves. So, of course, if one woman says, okay, I be this type of person, and this person is high in stature and popularity, then everyone wants to want what that person wants. But one thing does not fit for everyone.
Ma'am, where can you go where one thing fits for everyone?
Here on social media.
No. I want to know where you can go to where one thing fits for everyone, because that makes no sense to me. It never does when say one thing doesn't fit for everyone. Where do you go where one-stop shop is for everybody? Where does that exist in life?
Well, you just said over 50%.
Ma'am, that's not what I know. That over 50% is not one for everyone.
I didn't know.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that I'm trying to, and the thing is, okay, here's what I find frustrating with women our generation. It's we don't have much life left. And it's like, are you married?
I was.
So you're not married now. Okay. Do you want to live the rest of your life by yourself?
No.
So what's the plan to get with somebody?
Well, apparently, I was with my husband for almost 30 years. My first boyfriend at 16. So to be single at this age is crazy because there's not relationships, there's other stuff going on that I'm not familiar with. So my plan is to maybe hopefully some I don't know. I just go with the flow and see what happens with my own plans.
That's a good. That's a good way to die alone.
I got more,
That's a good way to die alone. And see, the thing is, you're going with the flow, but your flow seems to be you were in a bubble, and what you've described is people are just followers and they're sheep. So what? And I think that's a very, very arrogant thing for someone to say, especially someone who ain't been out here. But I let you say it because I talked about humility.
Thank you. I am humble.
But you're not, because you're talking about something you're not. You just how long have you been out here?
I've been since 5 years. So.
5 years, but you were in a relationship since 16. So, ma'am, arguably you've been in a bubble. You don't know. And if the world, and to you, this sounds like, well, this, and I lived in New York, dear. Got news for you. You're the one that's the odd duck.
Yes, I am.
Right. So understand, maybe, just maybe.
I'm old school romantic.
Well, that's okay, but how's that going to work in this world unless you find? So if you're an old school romantic, did your husband pass? Did your husband pass?
Huh?
Did your husband pass?
Nope.
Good luck with that. Old school romantic, out of touch. That's fine. I mean, hey, because I think it's interesting that I was saying this the other night, and I was saying the reason I don't date women my age, you're too difficult. Women, and that is more than generally true.
I'm genuine.
I said your age, man. I didn't say you. See, here's the thing, ma'am. There's a generalization and there's you. If it's not you, let it go. I said your age. And the reason men my age don't tend to date women our age is because women our age tend to be difficult. And go with the flow is what we really want. And I think it's funny because if you go back on the show I did Friday night, I talked to a woman that was 52 and a woman that's 42. And you look in the comment section and you will listen to how exhausting it was to talk to them. Then I had a woman call in that was 23 and 24, and they were both like, thank you. Listening to you, now I'm on a better track because I don't want to be that. Young women are seeing the outcomes women today over 40 have, and they are rejecting them. They don't want it. So if that's not you, cool. But and if you're going to be dating, you need to know what the dating market is, because if you want to date age appropriate, it may be difficult to find a Generation X man to date because of the market. This is why I'm starting to see, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a trend, especially with women of a higher socioeconomic status in their 40s, they're tending to start dating young men. Have you noticed that?
I have.
And why is it? Because they cannot date men on the same socioeconomic status in the same age range. So they got to date down. So anyway, okay, good conversation. I hope it works out for you. I certainly do. Everybody, I think it's interesting that we are just, so many people today just seem to, I don't know, women are just like resistant to it's. They're all special snowflakes. That's another thing I want to talk about. Me, the me generation. One of the things that is so frustrating with women today, men are so frustrated with the fact that you're all special. No one can say anything. It always depends. There's no box. Women don't want to be categorized. You can't speak for all. One of the biggest things I hear from my female critics and detractors is you lump all women into this or that. I got news for you. You are all this or that. You fit in a box somewhere. And it is time out for women over 40 in particular to stop thinking you're all special snowflakes. You are more alike than you are different. But I want you to go back to the show I did on Friday and show that was what was happening. And why do women I think want to do that? It's because if they can do that, they can actually ask for higher price. They can ask for more. I mean, it's wise. Hello? Hello?
Hey, Kevin. Hi.
Hi, Karma. You didn't say hello.
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. A little bit too young for this one. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am well. So we're talking about self-love and modern women. But have you guys watched the broadcast from the beginning?
Not from the beginning. I tuned in like 15 minutes ago.
All right. Did you have a question or anything that you wanted to ask? Because I did something on YouTube first. Is there something you wanted to ask?
Like, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I feel like we can work on as modern women. And I just really want to tune in on the conversation of whatever you guys want to ask.
Okay. Okay, let me bring some other folks in because go ahead. Do what?
Okay.
Well, you don't have a question.
I mean, we want to. So this is the question. So we're 30 years old. So I'm 30. I'm 29. I just turned 30 this year, and I hear you talk a lot about, like, from the time that I was, that I did chime in. I hear you talk a lot about women our age, or I understand like we depreciate, but I feel like the generation that we live in currently, when it comes to like men our age, I feel like the generation has twisted like so drastically from like the 90s when I was growing up that it's a lot harder for women to get these kind of guys.
Get what kind of guys?
I feel like
Get what kind of guys we're talking about?
I feel like I'm talking about a kind of guy that just earns an honest living, like not a drug dealer type of guy. Somebody that wants more for themselves, that sees more for themselves. Because as far as me, like I'm not in the position that I would have hoped I would be in at 29, but I still see more for myself.
Okay, so I'm trying to narrow it down to have a better conversation. What kind of men are we talking about? Do either one of you have kids?
I have.
You do? Both of you have kids?
No, I don't.
So, to the woman without children, what kind of man are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about a man that, has an honest living, makes, 75 to a year, can provide for him.
$75,000 to $100,000 a year?
I'm sorry?
You said $75,000 to $100,000? Is that what you said?
Yeah. And even not just hard work. At the end of the day.
What state are you in?
We're in Ohio.
What kind of, you're 29, the woman without children, or you 30?
I'm 30.
Okay, so the woman without children, what kind of professions would a man, what kind of job titles would a man need to have to make $75,000 to $100,000 a year?
It can be like an accountant, a bank manager,
Bank manager?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What are some other ones?
He can work in IT.
Mm-hmm. Do what now?
In the medical field.
Okay. Ohio, the Midwest. Why do you need? What percentage of men make $100,000?
In Ohio.
No, period. No, just the same. It's the same nationwide.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
What's the percentage of men that make $100,000 or more? It's the same percentage nationwide.
I'm not sure.
Just guess.
And just nationwide in Ohio.
Nationwide. That's the number we use.
40%? Yeah, 60? 40?
60% of men make 40 to 60% of men earn $100,000 or more. So that means if you walk out on the streets, 4 or 6 out of 10 men earn 6 figures. Well, the first thing you said, these men are hard to find. So the first thing we need to do is identify what we're talking about, what kind of money we're talking about, what kind of jobs we're talking about, and how prevalent those jobs are. Man, 10% of men make that kind of money. And the biggest one you didn't mention is trucking. But in Ohio, in the Midwest, that is a low percentage of 6-figure earners. Why do you need a man making 6 figures?
I don't feel like I need it. And I do have a
Go ahead.
With a almost 5-year-old son.
Mm-hmm. Without just those metrics alone, it's inconclusive. Your child is 5?
Yes, he'll be 5 in November.
How long were you with the father?
I was with him for about a year and a half.
And why didn't you guys marry?
It's like he's kind of, yeah, I mean, the world. He's messed up. It's kind of like an issue with drugs and other things. And I really can't do anything about that. You know, at the end of the day, I have to move on with me and my child and do what's best for us.
It depends. I mean, first of all, so it does matter who your child is, and it matters who his father is. It does, because any man coming in, it has to deal with your child and a father. And as someone who's done that, that's one thing that men overwhelmingly don't want to deal with: children, or especially children with problematic fathers. And it also depends on the level you're talking about. If you're talking about men at the upper ends of income, not really. It's not really realistic. The average black man in this country earns around $41,000 a year. That's roughly $20 an hour. And I don't understand why so many women today who come from middle-class families want these top 10% men when that's not what your family is or your grandparents. Why go so high?
I just feel like I can't even find that's like high level.
What is that? What is that? I don't know what that level is.
I just feel like I can't find a man that's just like working, making an honest living, that actually keeps a relationship. Like,
well, where are you going?
That's not what they're caught up.
Where are you going? Well, first off, what's your profession?
So I work for New York Right.
Okay. All right. Where are you going to interact or meet men?
I honestly really don't get out that much.
Well, that's the problem. You can't catch what you don't fish for.
Right. I don't get out that much because I'm a full-time mom. I don't get that much help. So, and that's my problem.
Well, and it's not going to get any better. So this is why women tend to get so upset when I mention children, because like, well, I have a kid and I can't just undo this. But the structural things that come along with meeting men require time. So I said early on in the broadcast, the number one, outside of the what you bring to the table, the asset men want most from women is your time. You don't have time to give. How much time do you have to give to a man? So, and you're saying men at the top level, man. First off, Ohio's not a good state to be in as far as top earners. But why do you need a man that's up there?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying at the top level. Honestly, 50,000, 60,000, 50,000, 60,000. But it's like about being a hard worker, and I feel like a lot of guys that I come across like a facade.
Where do you go to meet men?
I go out to the local, to local spots, even when I'm out of town. I travel.
Okay, you have no children. Move. I can't make grass grow in the shade. I mean, single men, are especially upwardly mobile men, are congregated roughly in 10 cities. I'm from Oklahoma. I can't make Oklahoma be what it's not. So it's not a problem with the men. It's the problem with the men in your local area. That's number one. Number two, it's the lack of activity. I don't think many women today are really serious, moving with a sense of urgency, just kind of hoping it happens. Three, if I put you in a room with the kind of men you're talking about, are you what they want? And overwhelmingly, what men want from women is cooperation and femininity. So if you had to rank your level of femininity on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where would you rank your level of femininity? You cut out.
I would say mine's low because I'm in charge. Like I do everything. I'm like.
Okay, so that means you're going to attract a feminine man. You, ma'am. 20.
I think mine is in the middle, like a 5.
Okay.
I don't mind, I don't mind, like agreeing to certain things when it comes to, my man or allowing.
Well, in the middle is women who that.
Have my own voice to it.
Well, see, I think that what black women call in the middle is really closer to a 3. Because in the middle are women that are just easy to get along and friendly. Yeah. Feminine women that are higher are much more cooperative and agreeable. In our community, women were raised to work and take care of themselves. You weren't raised to be feminine. So it's not. So what I'm trying to show is the issue is far more on you ladies' side than it is on the men's side. Because the men do exist. It's just, are you in a position to find them, and are you what they want? Because if I put you there, they got to pick you.
Well, I think I have to end this here. Neither of these two ladies is particularly appealing to a high-value man, I would imagine. Not just about their appearance, but their whole demeanor is a bit low energy, I think, and it's quite sad, but there we are. There is a huge mismatch in the expectation of the market value of a desired man with the market value that these women present themselves to the dating world. And I think it's, from a personal point of view, it's of course difficult to confront your own personal market value, but I think on a more general scale, it's quite a sad indictment on us as Black or African American women. And I think if at all we can improve the situation, we should. And it starts with each and every one of us. Let's seriously look in the mirror and not just go into the dating market demanding what we want. Let's think about what we offer. Like this, we will naturally reduce our expectations.